Hello, everybody. Hello. I feel like a lucky man today because I managed to score an interview with Ilonia, Maple's second in command.
Hello, hello.
How you doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
Well, doing a lot better now that you're here, if I'm being completely honest.
Awesome, awesome.
I've been looking forward to this all week.
Well, that's always a good thing to look forward
So,
to.
oh yeah. So, I got some questions that some people, mainly myself, not gonna lie, have been wanting to know about you. So, how long have you known Maple?
I've known Maple for about 1.5 years now. Honestly, knew them from Twitter and kind of, joined the community from there, and rest is history, so to say.
Indeed. What what made you want to work for the club?
Yeah.
What made you
So
want to work for Maple?
yeah. So Maple was kind of putting out there that they really wanted some help with moderation inside of their Discord. And I happen to have a lot of experience with that from prior things that I've moderated, about 6 years worth of moderation experience. And I kind of came to Maple, explained what I offer, and explained how much experience I had. And it was almost a no brainer thought for Maple. They were like, heck yeah, let's get you on the team. And I've been moderating for Maple pretty much ever since. It was a very quick, like, I met Maple, and then like 2 or 3 months later, I was on their mod team. So I've been a moderator for a good portion.
That's one thing that I do love about Maple. I gotta say, we're gonna take a little break from the questions for just a second. That's one thing I love about Maple. She is right to the point. If she wants something done, boom, it gets done. Got a lot of love and respect for her on that front. So, we're gonna get back to the questions now. What what is it like being the moderator, the head moderator of such a large server? I mean, last night you guys hit what? Close to 1.3 thousand?
Uh, it was 1.21 if I'm correct. That's the current count in the Discord server.
1.21. Close.
Yeah.
Close enough for me, at least. What's it like being the head moderator for a club of 1.2 thousand people? It's got to be
It's
stressful.
yeah, it's a little bit of an experience. The way that I would say is that, we have in essence 1.2 thousand individual members that we have to look out for and make sure that everything is okay. A lot of it is pretty smooth sailing, honestly. A lot of it is people who do follow the rules and everything. And unfortunately, there are a few bad actors every once in a while. But as the head moderator, that's kind of my job. I have that experience to delicately handle those situations, and on top of that, with the moderation team that we have, we've kind of created a smooth ship. We've had a few instances in the past where we've had a few moderators that have strayed from the original goal of our moderation team and what we strive to provide, and our quality of service almost. But yeah, no,
Mhm.
it's there's things that come up, but with a good run ship, those are only minor bumps in a sea vast as 1.2 thousand people can be. So
Yeah, and
yeah.
it is a large sea.
Mm-hmm.
But the the good thing I've discovered is that there's always way more good than bad.
Oh
It's just the
yeah.
bad tends to stick out a little more.
Yeah, sometimes there's a few things that have stuck out, but we handle them, and we handle them with as much,
You squash them.
yeah, to a degree.
When the bugs pop up,
Yes. We try and, the first goal is to make sure that Maple and their image as being the face of the server, so to say, is kept in good standing. But that also comes down to also making sure that we as the moderation team also properly reflect what Maple wants of us to be. Maple can be nice as all that they want, and they can have all the wonderful things about them, but if they don't have a good moderation team backing them up, that would hinder them. And that's where kind of my role comes in. I make sure that not only does the Discord get handled properly, but our moderators are following what we need to a T, and making sure that we're also, because we are technically faces of the server as well. We have to make sure that our own appearances are kept in good standing, and making sure that we handle things in a proper manner.
Mm-hmm. As always, or
Yeah.
as one does.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are your hobbies outside of moderation? When you're not working for the club, what do you like to do?
Yeah.
To relax, to just...
So I would say that my main two hobbies are gaming and blender work. Blender work sounds a lot more tedious than it is, but I like creating and putting clothing on my avatars and keeping like a certain style. So it's like if you see my clothing, it's me. I like having that sort of branding, and that goes into also being a content creator myself, making sure that the image that I have also matches across all the various avatars I have, because I have how many avatars? 87 different avatars uploaded right now on my account.
87?
Yeah, and counting.
So I have, mother of God.
So I have a lot, and a few of them are just redesigns of the same model. Some of them are completely new models. I have a lot, and a lot of it comes down to the end to Blender work, just me being versed in Blender and knowing how to get that stuff done, and and soon I'll be offering my skills to other people. So by the way, if you're in the Maple Discord server, I also do avatar commissions as well. Small plug. But the other thing that I like to do though is I'm really into flight simulations right now. So I have a flight deck. It's the new Turtle Beach flight deck system that they just released about 3 or 4 months ago. By the way, I love it. I love all the functionality built into it. It's definitely still a product that's still early launch. They still need to build a whole bunch of functionality into the software, but the actual hardware itself is super nice, and you can tell that it's only going to expand with the amount of software that they can provide, because a lot of it is that LCD screen, and it's really fun. And I've been having a lot of fun getting it set up for Elite Dangerous, and just yesterday I actually just got it set up for No Man's Sky, but I had to emulate it as a Xbox 360 controller, because No Man's Sky doesn't have native key binding re-support. And that was fun, because I was like, ooh, there goes my hip tracker. Oh my gosh, my hip tracker is freaking out. That's what happens in VR chat. Your tracking goes haywire. Anyways, I was using my pitch and my roll, and it was funny trying to figure out, because at one point I had my throttle bound to my up and down axis. I'm like, how the heck did that happen? It was yeah, but I got it all figured out. I got it all worked out though. And I'm like, good. If I can use this as an Xbox controller, I might do challenges, because there's Monster Hunter Wilds coming out soon. I'm like, how funny would it be if I tried to beat Monster Hunter Wilds on a flight deck?
Oh my gosh, that is an amazing challenge.
Yeah, so
I like that idea. So, I'm going to go on ahead and address the elephant in the room. Let's face it, you are a pretty sizable content creator on TikTok. You have 12,000 plus followers now.
12.7 as of yesterday.
Every day. What is that like? What is it like being a content creator for TikTok? Are you at the point where people are like, oh, I know you, I've seen you?
So, to a degree, yeah. Funny enough, my content creation has always been its own sort of journey. I've been able to make some really wonderful friends through content creation. A lot of my really close friends, even my VR chat sister and everything, we're all content creators. And it's funny because a lot of them are bigger than me as well. But also a lot of them are right around where I am too. And so we have a good mix of friends, but it's really interesting because I have been noticed before. And it still catches me off guard when people notice me from TikTok. I'm like, I'm just here. I'm just me. I just make content. But, then again, the content that I do make, is not your standard VR chat content. I really do attempt
Right.
to try and make thought-provoking content, and I try and make content that tackles and handles mental health issues, because personally that's where I've had a lot of growth in my own like life, is within my mental health. And a lot of that came through me writing poetry, and so I share my poetry with people on TikTok, and a lot of people really resonate with it, because it's not every day that you see a poem creator, but at that, even a VR chat content creator that does their own poetry and writes it and records it themselves. And I made people weep on my shoulder unintentionally, and it's sort of moving when you have people saying like, I needed to hear this, thank you. And it almost kind of like brings tears to my eyes, knowing that I made such an impact on people's lives.
Oh yeah. That feeling has got to be second to none, knowing that just by doing something that you were taking a risk on, whether it be successful and hit the algorithm or whether it flop, but you also got to be at that point now that you don't really care. But to have the people that come up to you and say thank you, what's that like? What is that in your brain? What does that feel like?
So I've had that happen to me multiple times now, actually, and it never ever gets easier, is how I'll put it. It every single time it does happen, I'm still sort of taken aback, but not in a bad way. Like it's sort of like I never expected to have that kind of an impact on people, and to know that my content can at least make one person's day impacted in hopefully a good way, that is all that matters to me. And it's the one thing I strive for. If you ever tune into my streams on TikTok, that's one of the things that like I always try and tell people is I just make content because I like it. I don't care how many people see it, as long as one person sees it and I make their day smile, or I make their day better, or I help
And
them
that
work
right
through an
there-
emotion.
That right there, ladies and gentlemen, is the right way to be for content creation.
I just strive to
That
do
is the
me.
perfect mindset. Exactly. You don't put on an act. You don't put on a character. You just be you.
Exactly.
And that is why people love you.
Ah.
Because I've seen your TikToks. They're not your standard run-of-the-mill brain rot.
Oh no.
You actually have quality content. You have content that has had thought put into it. You can tell, because I watched your stuff. As every good reporter has to. I've done my research. And I am one of those people who was brought to tears when I saw some of your content. I'm not going to lie to you. It was gut-wrenching in the most positive way.
Well, and I'm glad that I could have that effect. It's, my poems, and that's the thing I'm most proud of, is my poems, because it's, the way that I've put it is poems are a way to one's heart and soul, because you can only speak words, but once you put words into feeling, then they have a whole different meaning, and that's what poems do.
Poetry has never been my strong suit, but I've always enjoyed a good, well-written, well-thought-out verse.
Oh, yes.
So, we're going to get back to the club for a second, all right? What keeps you motivated to keep this community right here safe?
Yeah, so, as kind of being the head moderator, I started as the lowest rank you could as a moderator, and I worked my way up very quickly, funny enough, and I don't exactly understand how I did it. I just know that Maple placed a lot of trust and faith in me, and time again, when an issue came up, I think Maple saw that they made the right decision. Not to toot my own horn, but I do kind of feel like I handle things in a very professional manner when it comes to moderation. But that's also because I also understand the amount of implications that some of these issues that we have to tackle take. We've had some pretty major issues before in terms of like people being, lying about things, and issues with being interpersonal relationships being brought into the server. And, those take a certain je ne sais quoi or a certain delicacy to handle correctly. And knowing that I have that skill set, and then knowing that there's again 1.21 people or 1.21 thousand people in that server, it's kind of the driving force is knowing that I have a job to do, but not in a sense like I'm forced to do it, but I do it because I want to keep that community safe. It's just it's a driving force in of itself almost. It's almost like self-perpetuating.
Mm-hmm. That's how I feel about my club at the Haunted Pumpkin. Well, I say as if it's my club. No, it's Bio and Sonic. They're the owners. I'm invested in the club to the point where it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm self-motivated to want to actively push this club together to get things done. So we're going to get to the one last final question here, and this is a big one. I have a feeling this answer may tug at some heartstrings, but I have to know myself. What does this place mean to you? And I'm not just talking about Maple Heaven. I'm not just talking about the club. I'm talking about where we are right now, the virtual world.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you, this virtual world that we inhabit?
Yeah, that's a very deep question, and I think my answer is probably going to be pretty deep here. To me, the virtual world and VR chat and the community around it is a place where I can wholeheartedly be myself. I came from a very abusive relationship that was 5 years long. And I had always expressed femininity before then and everything, but I had to suppress that in that relationship, and it killed me. It literally almost killed me, actually. I don't have it on this avatar, but I do have an actual tattoo that's a semicolon that's filled in with the trans colors. Because I am trans femme, and that's something that a lot of people, funny enough, don't actually know about me. They just think I'm cis femme, which is really like heartwarming. But I actually am trans femme. And so because of that, I can, one, be in VR chat and express who I want to be and live how I want to. And then two, it's the place where I met my boyfriend. It's the place where I met my future husband. Through my own content creation and through the friends that I had made, we actually, funny enough, met at Ferality of all places. Those, I mean, not really like the first time. He met at like my own VR chat meetup that I did when I was at like 2,000 people, like a year and a half ago or something. Shoot, was it a year and a half ago now? I think it was. Yeah, I was only like 2,000 or something people for followers at that time, and he came to my little tiny meetup. And then from there, he offered me Ferality tickets later on, and we just kind of went from there. And so it's a place where I've been able to have memories and meet some amazing and wonderful people. Friends that I didn't have beforehand because of that relationship that I was in. I'll put it this way, is living with a person who has an undiagnosed mental condition or mental health condition, and then the severity of that condition being on the highest end that it could, it just didn't work out that well. And so here is freeing. Here is a place where I can breathe, and here's where I've been able to kind of really grow into myself. I mean, I started HRT. I've traveled to FWA. I've seen friends that I've met here on VR chat, and the virtual becomes tangible, and that's where that magic happens. It's knowing that I've had these friendships for a year and a half now, and making them tangible is, it breaks me down, is how I'll put it. It makes me want to cry a little, just because of how special and how significant it is.
VR chat, without a doubt, to me, it's not a game. This, they may label it or call it a game. This isn't a game. This is its own ecosystem.
Oh yeah.
It's its own dimension. It's a place where dreams do actually come true.
Oh yeah.
And it's because of, I'll be one of the first people to say it. It's because of content creators such as yourself that this, and the people who play in general, that make this what it is so great.
Well, I appreciate
I would just
that.
like to take a moment and thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for your time. It has been an absolute honor getting to know you, getting to just sit down and have a nice little chat.
Yeah, and it's been a pleasure getting to be interviewed by you, and yes, wonderful questions.
Why, thank you. You give amazing answers.
I give the answers that come from the heart, is how I'll put it.
And that is where they should come from. Well, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the head moderator of the server, Nia. Any final words or thoughts before we shut the camera down and go about our ways?
Stay hydrated, stay amazing, and tomorrow is always a brighter day if you're not having a good day.
Amen. Thank you all so much for tuning in for this little video series. This has been yet another interview with Lazu. And this is me once again signing off. Have a great night, everybody.